Hello, Steve I'd say 9. Well, I had a little double feature last night. I watched The Thing and The Thing. Yeah, I watched the original The Thing from Another World or The Thing from Another Planet. I didn't realise that was the whole title. And then I was planning to watch all three, and then I sort of had a bit of a gap, and I'm like, well, there is such a difference between the original and the remake that I kind of felt like I could put the remake and the other remake, or the sequel, or whatever it was, in like the same marathon and do it separately. So that's what I did. Now this film, I didn't see it in the theatre. I meant to. I was involved with someone who didn't like horror movies, so it was always a chore getting him to go, and I ended up missing it. I don't think it got a big run. I don't think it was a big hit. His ex did see it and tell me about it, and he didn't like it. But yeah, it wasn't really his sort of film anyway. I can't believe he went. And I never watched it. I got it on DVD, and someone gave it to me, and it was just really bad quality. It was like recorded off like a screen or something. It looked awful, and I'm like, I'm not watching this. I'm not going to disrespect this film by seeing it like this. I'll buy it one day. Bought it on Blu-ray. Bought the two films on Blu-ray. Said I'll watch them one time, one night. I'll sit down, I'll watch them both. 13 years later, I did it. So yeah, I had no idea this was a prequel. So I watched the first film, the original film, or the remake, but I think of it in its own league. So I watched the first film from 1982, and then I went to watch this, and it opens with Arctic Winter 1982 or whatever. I'm like, what? And then I'm like, oh my God, it's a prequel. This is what happened to the people before at the other site. And I'm like, oh damn, I wish I'd known that, because they have done a good job with the cinematography and everything, and the writing, the text and the music and everything, the font and everything of the writing, to make it look like and feel like the same film. And it really would have worked really well together the way it was intended to, but I had no idea. So I guess I get an excuse to do another marathon later. But the problem with these films is, particularly the first film, part of the tension is not knowing where the alien is, who they're in. And once you kind of know that and you sort of know what's going to happen, it just gets a bit slow. There are scenes that are just really slow and quiet and moody, and they'd normally be just ripe with tension, but now they're just sort of empty, and I'm like, I'm just waiting for the effects to pop up. And this film wasn't great. It was good, but I mean, the effects didn't really exist. They were CGI, and they're a lot smoother than the original ones, but they're also a lot smoother, if you know what I mean. So I didn't really enjoy them as much, and they weren't as creative. They weren't as over the top. They were a little bit. They were in the vein of the originals. Like, the designs did look like the same creature, but like a lot of modern things, they just took the fun out of it by trying to be too serious and yeah. So I mean, there are a couple of interesting moments where one version of the creature sort of turns into someone upside down, and parts break off and turn into little centipedes that run around. Like the hands turn into like centipedes that run around with, and then they grow little bodies behind them and little things like that. And one of the guy actually comes down and sort of creeps backwards over another guy and lays down on him, and you actually see the two faces start to melt, and then later on you do see that they've turned into one creature and that. So there are a few things that were interesting, but it just, it's CGI. You're not sitting there going like, that's amazing, how did they do that? That looks so real. How did they do that practically? Now you're like, oh, it's CGI. Okay. And you're waiting for something that they couldn't have done with practical effects. And there's nothing here they couldn't have done with practical effects. So that's a little disappointing. Now the characters are a bit more likeable. The main character, it's a female this time, and she's nicer, she's more interesting than any of the other characters from the original film. Joel Edgerton is in this. He sort of not really a romantic interest at all or anything like that you thought he might have, but he's the only other sort of recognisable person, and he does end up being like the final girl along with the final girl, until things go wrong, of course, because it's the thing. I'm not going to give away the ending in case you haven't seen it, but it was okay. It didn't have as much tension as the original. The characters were a little more fun. It'll probably be a bit easier to rewatch, unlike Carpenter's masterpiece, which falls flat on the reviewing without the tension. This film didn't really have much, so I think it'll be easier to watch. So I'll probably get through this. I'll probably do a double sometime and watch the two together and see how they flow. Because I'm watching the end of the film like, how did the other one start? Did they get that actor who looks like the other actor? Is it a match? And it's like, well, you should have watched it in the correct order, then you'd know. I didn't. So yeah, I'm going to move on to the next movie. Feel free to share, like, comment, subscribe. Let me know what you think of The Thing and The Thing from 2011, the remake. I don't know if it made any money. Actually, I should have checked. I meant to. 38 million, made 31 million, so no. Like the original, didn't make any money. Kind of surprised with that. But yeah, I'm over 6 minutes. Damn it. I try to keep my videos to 5 minutes if I'm doing a review or something.